Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're having a super blessed day today, friends. Hope you're having a blessed day wherever you are, whatever's going on. I hope it's a good one. Glad to see all of you today. Wow, the chat blowing up even before, even before we get going. Funny. I always think this is funny. If you're a streamer and you go look at your viewer count, it says there's one. There's like 6 people chatting. There's one viewer. Like, do they even know how many people are really here? I don't know how many people are here. It doesn't matter. You're all here, and I'm glad you are. All right, I'm gonna get rid of this earbud. I know some people like to listen to themselves and hear what they're saying. I'm not one of them. The delay is a problem. Your sword isn't working. Uh-oh. No, it's not good. Your day is still yesterday. You haven't slept yet. Okay. Yep, I understand that, Mountain. You've been considering streaming myself if your schedule allows. That's one of the problems. Yeah, is if you can have a schedule that lets you regularly be out at the same time. You're streaming a lot less now. Yeah, that comes and goes. That comes and goes. I was streaming long streams Monday and Tuesday to start the year and decided got to cut that back. Just seeing if there's anything else that I missed as you all were coming in so kindly, saying hi to one another and dancing to the music. Okay, I think I'm caught up. By the way, if you haven't been here in a while, this is the new studio for the year. Window used to be on my right. Now it's on my left. And the fish tank used to be or close to where I'm seated, like right here in front of me is where it used to be. So I flip-flopped things, and I brought in the other tank of fish back here. So you can see Wywis right there, hanging out in the back. Got a little art here as well, and the hat's prominent right there for everyone to see. I have decided, okay, so this is gonna get all covered with stickers back here. So just like I got all over my mug, which by the way, if North Hill comes in, remind me, I need to show North Hill. I've got his merch on my mug now. And I do have a bunch of stickers to get started, but that's going to be, prime real estate for any streamer that, sends me, their merch, and I can advertise behind myself for you. So, all right, Mountain, I pulled a rolled up package of some kind out of my pipe. Drive that to the police department. I ain't messing with that. You drove to the police department. Ooh. That's interesting. Yes, hint, exactly. Hint. You want to send me merch? It could be right there. This is prime real estate advertising in my stream for your stream. It could be yours. I need to get my own there. Wait, I cast stream on a Google display, and I wonder how Twitch counts that. I don't know. I know that it will give me at the end. I can go look and see how many people were on PC, how many people were on OS, and how many people were on Android, and there might be another category, that kind of thing. Yo, T-Rex! Welcome in, my friend. Okay, so let's get over here. Galaxy, my friend, how are you doing? It's good to see you back around. I hope everything's going well with you, friend. You just wanted your shower to work, and look what I get for my troubles. Yeah, that happens. So, this screen has now changed, and by the way, this has been helpful. So, where I am is dedicated so that I can make verticals out of this after stream. And, yeah, I know I'm cutting out part of it, so I just have to remember when I'm looking at things to scroll so you can see the bottom there. So I scrolled up. I know this over here is a waste of space, but unless I get something else to put in there. And the avatars here, it'd be fun if the avatars could go across the top instead of the bottom. Maybe I could do that. I don't know. Then I could drop myself lower. They'd still be in the way. In some level. Maybe that's what I could do. I can figure out an avatar thing and just keep all the avatars here. Then I could lower everything. I don't know. Just thinking out loud. Thinking out loud. If anyone's done that, let me know. Galaxy, all good. Just doing some cleaning. How about you? I'm doing good. I got, hopefully, if hopefully goes forward, I do have a podcast, second one set up to record today. So super excited. Star Fox, hey everyone. Hey everyone. T-Rex, no luck on getting your meds back. Oh, bum, man. Yeah, you were saying you were hoping that, but it's only $40 to refill without insurance. Okay. Well, the problem I was concerned with is they wouldn't let you have a refill. They wouldn't let you. My wife has certain medications, and if she ran out and it wasn't able to get a refill because the insurance and the Fed would say, no, 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 you couldn't have gone through that many pills. Your prescription says this is how much you can have, and you've taken more, so you can't get a refill. So that was my concern, but I'm glad it's only $40. My wife has one medication that literally, it does without exception. Without exception, we go through the drive-through to pick up the prescription, and the person goes, "You know how this is a really expensive thing. You know how much this is?" And we go, "Yeah, we've been buying it for 10 years plus. So yeah, the price hasn't gone down." And she still needs it. So, yep, know that. You get back to work Monday, but do not know if you want to. Yeah, you still recovering from the head injury? Is that feeling okay? Is that healing well? Well, this one is only Schedule 3, so it's easy enough. Okay, good deal. Good deal. Glad to hear that. Yeah, one of our other ones, the cheap one, was normally $10 a refill, and it's gone up to 13. It's gone up to 13. They don't say, "Oh, are you sure you want that on that one?" But, ha freaking mood. My old psych meds were like $600 without insurance for 30 days. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, this isn't this is for digestion. Anyway. It feels better, but now the divorce in progress, the job I love may cost me time with kids. Yeah, and I don't know how dad-friendly your state is with regards to custody and rights. I know my state is not dad-friendly. It is not. So, also Schedule 2, the whole get a written prescription every month got annoying. Oh, well, thankfully she doesn't have any of those that have to have a written prescription every month, but she does have to have a new one every year. Even though she's been on it for 10 years, she's got to get a new one every year. So, all right, let's get into some scripture, friends. So I was going to show you here. So today's the 18th. We've got part of Luke 18 and part of Luke 19, and then some Deuteronomy. But the way we've been doing it, and I'm enjoying this. We pick one book and we stay in it. So we got Luke 18, we finished Luke 18. So I already crossed that one off. We got Luke 19 and Luke 20, and I was trying to map out ahead of time. So through Saturday, it's up to verse 26. But we'll finish Luke 20, I think. Luke 19 and 20 will be the plan for today. And tomorrow we'll jump into Deuteronomy 29, 30, and see if we can get all the way through 32 or beyond. And if you're not following along with this is on the Bible app, reading through the Bible in a year with Nikki and Pippa. And I'm not a fan of their plan all the time. Like, look at what yesterday was. Like, not even the whole chapter of Luke, not even a whole chapter of Deuteronomy. Like, but then look at what we got going on at other days. Like, back here, we had 3 chapters of Deuteronomy in one day. So why do we have less than a chapter a day? I don't understand the logic of the way that they divide it up. I just don't. So we're mapping it out as we go. A few of you might be over on the app with me. I haven't made comments lately. I apologize for that, but It's just one more thing to do, and I am not a checklist guy. I'm not about to just check the list to say I did it. From what you've been told, your city is the same. Yeah, not father friendly. Unfortunately, the states had gone that way. Many of them went in that direction where they were not father friendly. They would always side with the mother in court cases with divorce and custody and all that stuff. And I just want them to be fair. That's all I'm looking for. Okay. So let's get into this. So we are going to be Luke 19. And we're using the Net Bible. We're using the Net Bible here, which is netbible.org. And there's lots of footnotes along the way that we can check them out. Hey, Puzzler Rabbit! Good day. How are you? I'm doing well. Doing well. I've got 2 members. Oh, by the way, if I hadn't said it, I've got 2 members now on my board. I'm just waiting to hear back on one if he's willing to be the secretary to track the notes and everything. And then I'll be able to send that off to the state. So hoping to get an answer today on that. Pop, pop, Taterhead. That's just so much fun to say. Pop, pop, Taterhead. Good morning, Flat Cap and Chap. Hope everyone is having a terrific Thursday. It is. Mountain K, in my case, it sadly feels like I have no rights. Yeah, in some cases, that is how they make you feel. I think they intentionally are trying to make you feel that way, whether you have some or not. So, yeah. Okay, I'm noticing that these are over the top of avatars, so let me just change that. There we go. Then the avatar will be above that. If I can get on the right one here. I can't find it. Is that it? No. Oh, there it is. There we go. Now it'll be behind avatars. I'm a little down this morning. I hope hanging out here for a bit, Mountain, will pick and lift your spirits up. Glad to have you hanging out here, my friend. It's nice to have you here. Oh, by the way, if you are a streamer or you're just a nerd and you'd like to hang out with a bunch of streamers and other nerds, Nerd Culture Ministry Summit announced its dates, so you can go check that out. I don't have a link or anything for it to post. I'm hoping to go there. It's gonna be in Colorado Springs at a castle. So that sounds like a bunch of fun. November 11 to 14. The conference is 12 to 14. If you're close enough that you don't have to come in the day before. And hang out at the castle. And other wonderful streamers and nerds in various areas. Yeah, hopefully your intrusive thoughts don't win. Well, sometimes being able to share that and hanging out with others will help. The 14th is your brother's birthday. Okay. So November, you're saying? Because I was saying November. So you're saying November 14th is your brother's birthday? That's a ways out, but that's okay. Okay. You know what? I'm just looking at the sunrise a second. Let me show you that. Sun peeking up in there. And I want to check this. If I pan over, we got any sun today? I don't think we're gonna. Looks cloudy to me. Yeah. No sun there today. All cloudy. Okay, so reading in Luke, we're going to jump in Luke 19. Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through it. Now a man named Zacchaeus was there. He was a chief tax collector and was rich. He was trying to get a look at Jesus, but being a short man, he could not see over the crowd. This is such a funny story from that perspective. I always liked Zacchaeus as a kid because I was short. The Greek, he was not able to because of the crowd, for he was short in stature. Okay, that's just interesting way of phrasing that. Son of light, hey, flat cap, brother in Christ, welcome in. We'll be nowhere near the area. He lives in Denver. Oh! Well, Denver, Colorado Springs is closer than where you're living, my friend. I want to go look up Zacchaeus. I don't know if I've... The last time I don't remember what his name means. Wow, why is it giving me a bad gateway? That's not cool. Server timeout? What? I've never had that. Is something going on with Blue Letter Bible? Okay. That's weird. Luke 19. Bum, 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 bum. A man named Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus. Let's see if that's the right way to pronounce it. Zacchaeus. Oh, come on.
Strong's G 2195. Zacchaeus.
Oh, I didn't go.
Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus. Okay, I knew I was going to be in a different direction. Pure. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The guy's name is Pure, and he's a thief. His name is Pure, and he's a thief. Ugh. And oh, sorry, going the wrong way. We treat names like, oh, this is the name has no meaning. What if his name isn't literally Zacchaeus? But if it was, how ironic. His name is Pure. He's the chief tax collector. He's rich. He's a thief. His name means pure. Yeah, Zacchaeus was a wee little man, and the wee little man was he. Yes, it's a good song. Meanwhile, I'm a giant, and I have been most of my life mountain. Yes, yes. You can't stay long. About to take your little bro to school. Hey, well, thanks for coming in, Puzzler Rabbit. Appreciate it. Yeah, the problems of a short person. Well, I usually look at it the other way. I will never hit my head on the door frame when I walk through it. I don't have that problem. You're parallel reading the Passion Translation and the KJV Plus. Yeah. Luke 19, along with you. Well, thank you, Son of Light. Time to hit the good old Google. Yeah, we're looking up names. Doing that in Blue Letter Bible, which has the lexicon right there. Zacchaeus was a wee old man, and a wee old man was he. I don't know. I can't think of a leprechaun when he was a wee little man. Star Fox in the New Living Translation. By the way, if you're over in the Discord, we do just an ongoing. So if you're not able to make the stream and you don't want to watch a long VOD, you can just go over there. I've got short little VODs. I read a passage and ask you to comment on it, and then and others people comment. You're using eSword, best ever Bible program. It's a good source for sure. Mountain. My name translates to who is like God. Talk about pressure. Oh, well, unless it's a reference to no one is like who is like God? No one. Not even the guy bearing the name who is like God. It's more to point to God than to be like God, I would say. But nice. I will put that in my parallel too. Words plus. Hey, thank you. We didn't get a count there, huh? Your name means great protector, son of light. Ooh, William is great protector. Short little VOD, Zacchaeus VOD. There we go. Zacchaeus VODs. I like that. I like that. Huh. Okay, let me pull up a second and see if... your name, Michael. Yes. You know what? I should remember what that means. I don't. What's the problem? I look things up, and then I don't remember what they mean. Wow, I've got like... Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. CloudBot is turned off. There we go. Now it's turned on. Now words should work. Let's make sure. There we go. There we go. I told you my sword isn't working. It's too dull. You got 3 different translations from Google? Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Not surprised by that at all. And sometimes that is because it depends on where they see the origin of a name. Zacchaeus. I don't think that looks like a Hebrew name. I don't think that looks like a Hebrew name. Does it give me a word origin? Let me just go back over here. Of Hebrew origin. Okay, here's the Hebrew origin. Zakai. Zakai. Okay.
Strong's H2140. Zakai.
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 So there is a person in Ezra and Nehemiah named Zakai. Okay. Oh yes, Michael would be of Hebrew origin. The L on the end is reference to God. I don't remember what it means though. Resolute protector, noble spirits, William means. Just looked it up fresh, William. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, so we got Zacchaeus. Now, a man named Pure was there. He was the chief tax collector. How does someone hearing this story in the first century, knowing that Zacchaeus means pure, now a man named Pure was there. He was the chief tax collector and was rich. They're not reading that as a pure man. The fact he's short, I don't know if they made fun of short people back then. It always added to the story, in my opinion, but you don't know. You don't know. Yes, like El Shaddai. Each letter means something. Yes. My name, according to Google, means who is like God or gift from God. Either way, it's a lot of pressure. Let's see what this says. I don't remember. Let's see what we get in our lexicon over here. Because we're looking up names. Who is like God? Yes. Yep. That's... I would say, though, probably most people I know with that name, their parents didn't name them that because they were thinking that, oh, who is like God? I'll go with that. The L in Michael means power and authority, which Michael is. Yeah. Okay, let's jump back into the text. I know I like looking up names, but Michael's not in this story, so we'll get back to the Mr. Pure. Mr. Pure? Mr. Pure, can I pay my taxes now? And I don't want to be swindled. He was trying to get a look at Jesus, but he was short and couldn't see over the crowd. So he ran on ahead and climbed up a sycamore tree. A sycamore tree would have large branches near the ground like an oak tree and would be fairly easy to climb. These trees reach the height of 50 feet. Okay, I've also noticed at times there is a fig called a sycamore fig. And I remember a tree growing up where I live that, we called a sycamore tree, which was a pretty good sized tree. But the bark was all this nasty kind of looking bark. Like, it wasn't a nice looking tree. But I'm not sure exactly the fullness of what the tree is. I'm going to trust that they know more than me. To see him because Jesus was going to pass that way. Yeah, and as the Savior passed that way. And when Jesus came to that place, he looked up in the tree and he said, Zacchaeus, come down quickly because I must stay at your house today. Okay, let's see if there's anything in... Hasting, come down has the translated as a participle of manner. So come down quickly, the manner in which you're coming, because I must stay. Jesus revealed the necessity of his association with people like Zacchaeus, like Pure. The act of fellowship indicated acceptance. Yes. Stay at your house today, or today, here and in. See the note in 2:11. Today, your Savior is born in the city of David. Or, okay, here or in. Johnny Darko, hey, good morning. Dive back in, bro. Yeah. No, I couldn't avoid singing it as I was reading it because the song just takes the text like, yeah. Really? I can easily. Well, not this song. I couldn't help myself. Okay. So, like, come down quickly. I must go to your house today. Like, people are like, would Jesus have known who he was? Oh, yes. He would have known who the chief tax collector was for this area. There would have been no doubt he knew who Zacchaeus was. He knew who he was. There was no misunderstanding. There was no, it was like intentionality of, I'm going to eat with you. Not totally equivalent, but it would be kind of like a good analogy of a person that might be really despised in the community would be the local drug kingpin, or the local mafia person that everyone knows of and knows the destruction that they bring to your fellow citizens. And Jesus coming up and saying to someone who is the local drug kingpin, hey man, I gotta go to your house today. And you'd be going, you're gonna eat with that guy? Are you kidding me? You're gonna eat with that? You're going to his house? And we go, yeah, that's what Jesus did with Zacchaeus, right? Yep. I truly believe singing scripture gets it deeper into your spirit than just reading it. So I don't think you're wrong. I think especially the Psalms and some of the Hebrew was written in a manner to be sung. I'm not so sure with the Greek, though. The Greek is a different style of writing. So I'm more of a beat kind of person. Yeah, that makes sense. You need the beat to sing. Son of Light, Jesus pretty much knew everything each day he walked around because the Father showed him it for the day. That's why he went into the garden each day, emptied himself, and got freshly filled for the day, which is a great example for us to follow, the getting filled up for the day. There's a new one of those every week, it seems. I know. It seems like there is, like all the time in God's Word. There's something new and fresh and a new song to sing. Go to your house today. So he came down quickly and welcomed Jesus joyfully. And when the people saw it, they all complained. Why? This is the local tax man who is ruining our lives. He's stealing from us. He's swindling from us. And Jesus is eating with him. You best not be eating with that boy. That boy is the biggest problem in town, and we need to run him out. If we can get rid of the Romans and get rid of him, it would fix all of our problems. When the people saw it, they all complained. He has gone in to be the guest of a man who is a sinner. What's the footnote there? Being a guest of a man who is a sinner was a common complaint about Jesus. Oh, yes, definitely. Oh, there's a new beat every week. Okay, gotcha. They're still relating to songs, yep. Fresh revelation, layers of understanding. Don't eat with the guy. He makes livers and onions. Can't make everyone happy. Oh, no. No, oh my goodness, if your goal was to make everyone happy, you would never be happy because you can't make everyone happy. Now, my goal isn't to make everyone happy. I just hope that everyone goes away feeling better after having spent some time with me than they did before arriving. And I know that doesn't happen every time, but you'd go, yeah, you could. Subdue, still here. Thank you, friend. But Zacchaeus stopped and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, half of my possessions I now give to the poor. And if, if I have cheated anyone of anything, I am paying back 4 times as much. Then Jesus said to him, today salvation has come to this household, because he too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost. So if you remember what we were at and about in the last time we were here in Luke, we had parables. We had the lost sheep. We had the lost coin. And we had the man with 2 sons. And so the point of those parables was he came to seek the lost and to go after the lost and rejoicing in having over 1 lost. So he goes to seek Zacchaeus, the one who he was going to redeem. Yes. Your goal is to share the word, the truth. It will naturally offend. Oh, yes, the truth in love, of course. Yes. Gotcha, my friend. Thanks, Streamlabs. Shares the love. Okay. I'm trying to think, was there something else in here? Zacchaeus was a penitent man who resolved on the spot to act differently in the face of Jesus' acceptance of him. So notice it's the acceptance that happens prior to the change of heart and mind. This is what we, I think, get wrong. It's what the crowd got wrong. It's what the Pharisees get wrong. The love and acceptance precedes the change in Zacchaeus. The love and acceptance and the seeing Zacchaeus as a person of worth preceded Zacchaeus making any changes. He doesn't make changes and just say, oh, well, thanks, since you made changes, I'll go to your house to eat. No. He said, I must go, and let's go quickly. It's happening now. And this sounds like it's along the way. Zacchaeus stops and he says, hey, I'm ready to change. In resolve to give half his possessions to the poor, Zacchaeus was not defending himself against the crowd charges and claiming to be righteous. Rather, as a result of this meeting with Jesus, he was a changed individual. So Jesus could speak of salvation coming that day and of the lost being saved. Okay. Yeah, so it's not in response to the crowd of, hey, they're accusing me, I'm going to give to the poor so Jesus will be impressed with me. No, Jesus wouldn't have been impressed by him doing that. It's a change of heart, a change of circumstance and direction of life. 22, this is first case conditional. In the Greek, it virtually confesses fraud. If I have cheated anyone of anything. So this is really an admission of guilt, the way that this reads in Greek. It's not if from a question of, it is if that person is someone I cheated, if that person, well, whoever it is, whoever it may be, it's a matter of fact, I did. And I'm paying them back 4 times. I was trying to see if there's a footnote on that. It doesn't. There are some passages in the Old Testament about fraud and how much you're supposed to pay back. I thought it was you were supposed to add a 5th to it when you paid back someone else. Like you're supposed to add 20% on it. But he's saying I want to pay back 4 times what I stole. So let's just say, because he's a tax collector, let's say you legit owed $900 and he told you had to pay $1,000. So it's the 100 that he cheated you of. He's going to pay you back 400. So just making sure you understand the math piece of how that is. So, you haven't been in a church since you were a child. Oh, interesting. And I know your work schedule is not going to be conducive to regularly attending. But, yeah. Maybe if someone invites you along, because I know it's hard to go on your own. If someone invites you along, then accept an invitation. Accept an invitation, Mountain. If someone invites you along, and if you don't want to go to a physical church, there are several on Twitch that I would gladly recommend that you could spend some time with. So, God Squad Church, Lux Digital Church, North Hill Live, Pastor G, and I think his stuff happens off of Twitch, but he's streaming Twitch now. So. You were forced into religion as a child. It could feel that way. And sometimes, yeah, it is that way. So I don't know which it was, if it just felt that way or if it truly was. But forcing compliance doesn't really resonate to lasting a long lifetime for most people. Okay, so we've got Zacchaeus. Short little story. We have a song about it. Yeah, I don't know what else more I can say about it. I rebelled against it very hard. Yeah, I understand the desire to rebel against things. You know what I read recently and am grabbed onto it by faith is Sunlight. Share. Share what that is. Okay, we're going to keep going. So we had parables earlier. Now we're going to have a parable again. Mountain, good thing. Jesus is relationship, not religion. Exactly. Yeah. And the thing, I know a lot of pastors would tell you, you need to be in church on Sunday. I will not tell you that because I don't think that one day of the week is better than any other. I know we celebrate Sunday as the Lord's Day because it's the day of resurrection. I get all of that. But I would rather you were in relationship with other Christians and hanging out in God's Word more than sitting in a pew listening to a monologue that you're going to only feel better because you were present and walk away and nothing changed. I'm not interested in that in any capacity. So now you're an adult and can make your own decisions. Yes, I did some very bad things to the local church. Oh, okay. As a kid, I hope only. Okay. The blessing God bestowed upon Abraham, he literally bestowed on us who received Jesus as Lord. Oh, yeah. Well, there's another thing, too. If we're looking through the Old Testament, okay, they are to honor the Sabbath, right? They are to honor the Sabbath. But they didn't go to the temple every Sabbath. They went to the temple 3 times a year. They went to the temple 3 times a year for 3 celebrations. And if they lived too far, they might have only went once a year to the temple. And yeah, you can say there's synagogues and all that. There weren't synagogues to start with. There were not synagogues to start with. So, Wade, some people can't go to a physical church due to house churches and being underground in countries that persecute Christianity. Wade, there's a great point too. Some people are not free to gather publicly for worship. I was going to go also. Some people have disabilities, whether those are physical, mental, or emotional, because it could be any of those, that make it very difficult for them to be able to be present in a regular physical building where people gather for church. God can forgive you, Mountain, and will just ask. Yeah. Mountain, as a boy, I may have used a funny smelling green thing in the incense burner. Oh no, you regret it now. I'm glad you regret it now. I'm glad you regret it. True buildings are usually just for gathering. We are the church. Jesus said, always buildings are more for fellowship gathering than anything. The disciples went from home to home. And I think that's where I really think we need to get back to, and I think we're going to. We're going to get back to more home churches. By the way, if you happen to be in Kansas City, this is the sticker for Kansas City Underground. I'm going to put it back there. I'm a dresser. That's a collection of house churches. And so that's why they just call them underground, because they're house churches. They're not something you can see. Like walking down the road, you go, oh, there's a church that meets there. You won't see that. So that's why they call it the underground. Some countries, they literally have to be underground to hide from the government. So, Johnny Darko, a man just stabbed a bishop while he was preaching. Mari Emmanuel, Mari just made a public statement saying he forgives him. Putting some smelling things in the incense burner surely can be forgiven as well, if you ask. Yes. Wow, where is the Mari Emmanuel? Is that near you, Johnny? I did not see that story. Seek the Lord, he will take the regret from you. Home to home, and they shared a meal together. Yes. Ever since you couldn't bring yourself to go in. I understand that. I understand that. That is a difficulty to bring yourself to go in. I was just saying it might be easier if a friend invited you to go along than to show up alone. So, Paul literally killed people who were on fire for the Lord. God forgave Paul. That's such a good example of the richness of the love of God. Mari Mari is an Orthodox bishop in Australia. Okay, I believe. It's all over YouTube in recommended suggestions. Okay. Wow, okay. I have not heard about that, but there seems to be more, and this is not just against Christian, there seems to be more violence that people are willing to do to religious people, and even do it to them in the middle of worship, where, like, you might have had 50 years ago people against someone because of their skin color or other things that they would attack them. It wasn't so much about their religion, at least in the United States and the most of the Western world, unless you were talking about the Catholics and Protestants fighting each other. Then it was all open season. But there were church bombings at times, but there usually weren't church bombings when people were in the church. They were just trying to prevent you from gathering. Now it seems like you want to go in and harm people is the thing you're trying to do. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. Is Mari Mari the old guy with the red cloak who preaches? And Puzzler Rabbitback. He wears different colored cloaks, and he's probably 65 years old. It's on YouTube if you search for his name. Okay, I will have to check that out later. I'll have to check that out later. Thanks. Okay, moving right along. While the people were listening to these things, Jesus proceeded to tell a parable because he was near Jerusalem and because they thought that the kingdom of God was going to appear immediately. So he's talking with Zacchaeus. He's on the road. He's going to go to his house. Zacchaeus is doing things. They think he's coming immediately. He's got to clear things up. Yeah. The enemy is working overtime to destroy God's people. Yeah, I think there's a level of trying to cause fear and intimidation. Yeah. You could say my job is a penance of sorts. Oh, you could if you see it that way. Yeah, Satan is getting pretty desperate. I am sure he knows the time is near for Christ's return, so he's throwing a Hail Mary against God. That's a funny thought. Satan throwing a Hail Mary. Yeah. If you will just sit before the Lord and talk to him, he will let you know what's going on. Hey, shout out K-Man. Hey, K-Man, welcome in, my friend. Welcome in. Therefore, he said, a nobleman went to a distant country to receive for himself a kingdom and then return. And he summoned 10 of his slaves, gave them 10 minas, and said to them, do business with these until I come back. But his citizens hated him and sent a delegation after him, saying, we do not want this man to be our king over us. When he returned after receiving the kingdom, he summoned those slaves to whom he had given the money. He wanted to know how much they had earned by trading. So the first one came before him and said, sir, your mina has made 10 minas more. And the king said to him, well done, good slave. Because you have been faithful in a very small matter, you will have authority over 10 cities. Then the second one came and said, sir, your mina has made 5 minas. So the king said to him, and you are to be over 5 cities. Then another slave came and said, sir, here it is, your mina, that I put away for safekeeping in a piece of cloth. For I was afraid of you, because you are a severe man. You withdraw what you did not deposit, and you reap what you did not sow. The king said to him, I will judge you by your own words, you wicked slave. So you knew, did you, that I was a severe man, withdrawing what I did not deposit and reaping what I did not sow? Why then didn't you put my money in the bank so that when I returned, I could have collected it with interest? And he said to his attendants, take the mina from him and give it to the one who has 10. But then he said to him, sir, he has 10 minas already. I tell you that everyone who has will be given more, but from the one who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. But as for these enemies of mine who did not want me to be their king, bring them here and slaughter them in front of me. Okay, that is a different reading than I'm used to. I don't know about the rest of you, so let me get caught up on chat, and then we'll react to that. I mean, calling them slaves, and they hated the master who's going to, or the man who's going to inherit the kingdom. So we got two parallel things going on, and we have them telling us about the character of the man and the work of those who are supposed to be his people, and then the outsiders, or the subjects who hate him. So the slaves and the subjects are within the passage. Okay. Okay. Thanks. And it will fail, of course. God always wins. Oh, yes. Okay, man. Good day, mate. Okay, so just some highs and hellos. Okay. Yeah, it does sound similar to another story. So there is the parable of the talents as well. Instead of the minas, there's talents. So being a noble was risky. There was literally backstabbing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there could be. So he is getting elevated to the status of king. The servants, some are faithful and some are not. But the subjects do not want him to be king, so they are going to be slaughtered. So the question being, who are the servants in the story, and who are the subjects that don't want him to be king? Well, I think some of it is pointing to the Pharisees and those who are accusing Jesus of associating with the tax collector. So, oh yeah, they stab him in the back just like Julius Caesar. Yes, yeah. Yeah, you can have a level of power, but you can't elevate yourself too high above other people, and you can't take away all of their power, or they will claim it back. Yep. Okay. The other thing is, so we're not there, but when we go to the northern kingdom, when it's split into two kingdoms, the northern kingdom, people take the throne by power. And when you take the throne by power, you establish that power is the right to the throne. And so you might be able to maintain it, but your children or grandchildren are going to sometimes lose the throne and all be killed off because you took the throne by force, and someone is going to take the throne by force away from you. That's just common. It happens all throughout the northern kingdom. The southern kingdom, however, that does not happen. There's a couple of threats along the way, but the threats are all within the family, siblings fighting each other. Never outside of the family does the southern kingdom take the throne. So it's always a descendant of David on the throne. So I totally tracking with what you're saying. I just feel like there's something else going on here. The parable of the talents is a little bit different than the parable of the minas. Let me just go. Is there a... Yeah, your mina. Let me see what the footnote says. Minas in verse 13. Oh, I missed it on 13, so we'll back up to 13. That is one for each, and mina was a Greek monetary worth 100 denarii and about 4 months' wages for an average worker based on 6-day work week. Yeah, 6-day work week. So a denarii was 1 day's wage. Essentially, you got a denarii for 1 day of work. You could get 6 in a week, so they calculate that out. That's how they get the 100 days or 4 months. So, wow. So a mina is worth 100. So the one slave get 100. If you're multiplying 10, return. Woo. That is a great rate of return. Okay, so he summoned 10 of his slaves and he gave them a mina. Okay. So we're only getting a report back from 3 of them. We're only getting a report back for 3. So there are 10 of them. They each get 1 mina. In the Terrible of the Talents, one gets 1 gets 2, and one gets 5, I believe. And then there they double it. Here, this person gets a return of 10 times what he was given. The other gets a 5 times what he's given, and the other just returns it like nothing. Nothing. Yeah, but we don't know for sure what the price of things were. No, we don't. But regardless of what the price of things were being, if you just calculate out, hey, what is the average salary for a month, and what does that give you? What can you purchase with that? Yeah, that would have some correlation there. Knowing it's a day's wage, whatever your day's wage is, helps you make an assessment of it. So I like comparing it to a day's wage. That to me connects directly. Oh, so it means I'd have to work 4 months to make as much money as he was given. Yeah, so if you had to work 4 months for that to get 1 denarii and you repay 10, so that would be 2.5 years of wages. 2.5 years of wages, essentially. But he returns 10, so he made 9 on the return, actually. Supply and demand. I took economics. Oh, totally. I get you. It doesn't tell you what you can buy. It tells you relatively. So, anyway. I don't know if I have anything more on that story, but he is telling them a story, and they are not going to react fondly to this story. They did not like Zacchaeus, so they were already in a position of not really setting right with Jesus. After Jesus had said this, he continued on ahead, going to Jerusalem. Now, when he approached Bethphage and Bethany at the place called the Mount of Olives, he sent 2 of his disciples, telling them, okay, so this seems like, let's just go back. We're in verse 30. So just going back, he entered Jericho, and as he was passing through, he said he had to go to Zacchaeus and eat today. But Zacchaeus stops and says all this. Then Jesus said to him, today salvation has come to your household. Okay. While the people were listening, see, it reads like Jesus didn't actually make it to Zacchaeus' house and he didn't eat with him. I think he still does. The crowd is still there because the people are complaining, and he tells them the parable. I think Jesus can have gone to the house of Zacchaeus here in Jericho. The crowd is gathered around. They didn't leave him just because he went into Zacchaeus' house. So this could be while the people were listening to the things that were happening at the nobleman's house. He tells a story about the nobleman, and now he's moving on after eating with Zacchaeus. It doesn't have us all those details. I'm just trying to read what's in the text and what's next. Okay. So he sent 2 of his disciples ahead of him. So this is right after Zacchaeus. He went and sought the lost. He tells a parable about how do you treat the things that you're given by God. Go to the village ahead of you. When you enter it, there you will find a colt there that has never been ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If someone asks you, why are you untying it? Just say, the Lord needs it. So that who were sent ahead so those who were sent ahead found it exactly as he had told them. As they were untying the colt, its owner asked them, why are you untying that colt? They replied, the Lord needs it. Then they brought it to Jesus, threw their cloaks on the colt, and had Jesus get on it. As he rode along, they spread their cloaks on the road. As they approached the road leading from the Mount of Olives, the whole crowd of his disciples began to rejoice and praise God with a loud voice for all the mighty works they had seen. Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven. Oh, sorry. You know what? I realized you can't see this. I didn't scroll up. Okay. Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory in the highest. But some of the Pharisees in the crowd said to him, Teacher, rebuke your disciples. He answered, I tell you, if they kept silent, the very stones would cry out. So here it is the disciples doing the praising. We I think, are familiar with one of the other stories that says that there were children, and I think the children are in the temple. So we'll keep and see if that happens here. But just want to go back and check a few things. There was a, yeah, the Lord needs it. I wanted to check what that was. The custom called Angaria allowed the impressment of animals for the servants to a significant figure. Oh, I didn't realize that. So, Jesus is exercising kingly authority, a significant figure. The Lord needs it. A person of good stature, of good standing, needs use of an animal, and we are putting this animal into service for him. I didn't realize that. I knew that Roman soldiers could press someone into service and make them carry things for them a mile. And that's where you get if someone asks you to walk a mile, go with them also too. It was an abuse of power that the Romans usually did on people. And if he went more than a mile, they could be punished. So it's pointing out the problem in that. But here we have a different kind of impressment of an animal for service. I think Matthew tells the story with two donkeys, a colt, or a mother and its colt. Okay, I'm just thinking, do I have an ad coming up soon? Let me just look. Let me pull up. Oh, and I'm not logged in. Okay. Well, then we'll just deal with it when we get there. We'll deal with it when we get there. I'll go log in when I get the break, and then we'll be ready for the next one. Okay. Blessed is the King. This is going to... Luke adds the title King in the citation from Psalm 118:26 to make clear when he meant the psalm was used in looking for the deliverance of the end, thus leading to the Pharisees' reaction. So the quotation from Psalm 118:26 is what leads the Pharisees to be upset. May the one who comes in the name of the Lord be blessed. He will pronounce blessings on you in the Lord's temple. So, also, this is Palm Sunday. Palm branches and the festival of booths in the fall is where this should be associated with. And Jesus brings it here. His disciples bring it here in association with Jesus and leading into Passover. It's not the general place where Psalm 118 would be fixed. It would have been in the fall with the Festival of Booths and the palm branches waving. We didn't get any palm branches listed here. We only had cloaks on the road here. But later on, the palm branch, it becomes an offense that was punishable because the palm branch became a sign of the zealots who wanted to overthrow the government. So palm branches being a sign and a moniker for those who want to overthrow the government. Oh, the ad break ends in a minute. Okay, I knew it was coming soon. I like Luke because I find it more different than the other three Gospels, Puzzler Rabbit. I like all of them. And hiya, Sis Pineapple. Okay, I'm going to give you this. While we got the ad break. There we go. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, dun. There, now I'm back in, so I should be able to be on alert for the next time the ad break runs around. Okay. Is that a big shell on the beach? No, here, let's go look. That is not a shell. That is a lawn chair. So that is a chair on the beach. And then there's a couple other chairs sitting there as well on the beach. So that's what those are. Probably next week, gonna work on moving the cam closer to the pond. The pond is up and running. Oh, look at the guppies today. Look at the guppies today. And there are some baby ones in there. Can we see the babies? Ooh, and that mama right there by Squidward's house. Looks like she might be getting ready to birth some more. Oh, the hungry, hungry koi. I'm going to go ahead and feed the koi. All right. Wow, that's a lot of guppies. It is. Did the camera freeze? The camera froze. Why did the camera freeze? There we go. You see the food floating around. They're all coming to eat. It looked like the back of a chair was a rib part of a shell. Oh, yeah. I could totally see that. That's why I made it bigger so you could see it. And if you didn't know what it was, and you're looking at a small screen, hard to say, hard to know. Okay, you were saying that you liked Luke's version of the triumphal entry. Yeah. I like the part if they kept silent, the stones would cry out. Let me see what the footnote says on that. Oh, it's these, they. If these kept quiet, they're changing it for English. The statement amounts to a rebuke. The idiom of creation speaks means that even creation knows what is taking place, yet the Pharisees miss it. On this idiom, see Genesis and Habakkuk. So there's an idiom that creation knows what the truth is. Sorry you don't, my friend. Ooh, that's a little harsh there. Active koi. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, here. He was just up front. Yeah, he's still up front. Yeah, right up there, right up front. Very active. They're very hungry. It's like trying to follow a home run. A baseball is tiny. Oh, yes. Froze again. Why is that cam freezing? I wonder if there's a bad internet connection with it. Must be. That's on Wi-Fi. Computer is not on Wi-Fi. So. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. They had less brain cells than a blade of grass is what it basically said. I never thought of it that way, but if the stones would cry out, yeah, that would definitely be that kind of an insult. Now, when Jesus approached and saw the city, he wept over it, saying, "If you had only known on this day, even you, the things that make for peace. But now they are hidden from your eyes. For the days will come upon you when your enemy will build an embankment against you and surround you and close in on you from every side. They will demolish you and your children within your walls, and they will not leave within you one stone on top another, because you did not recognize the time of your visitation from God." So you didn't realize the visitation from God. God in the flesh is here among you. You didn't recognize that. If you only knew, if you only understood, if you could only... So he is in sorrow because they're missing it. He is in sorrow because there's so many that just don't see and understand. One of the other things, too, I recently watched a video talking about how scholars have debated the dating of... Wow, my internet is froze, too. So it must not just be the what do you call it? Must not be just the fish. It must also be mine. I'm froze. Let me find. Where's my cam? There. Is that it? Come on. There we go. Is it cold today? For sure. It is cold today for sure. Yes, yes. So I don't know why I froze. The fish have been having problems. The cam over there has been freezing on them. I was thinking it was internet, but then, hey, my whole thing just froze on me. So maybe I'm having lag problems today. Maybe it's a full-on internet issue. My bitrate is looking where it normally is and says it's excellent. What's funny is sometimes it says the rate is excellent when it's lower than other times where it says it's not excellent. You wonder how I can be talking and not moving. It's ventriloquism at its finest. It's ventriloquism as its finest. I wish I could do that and just be able to, keep talking and pretend that I'm putting the words in my own mouth. I know people that do that. It's funny. I'm no good at it. Okay. So Jesus is entering Jerusalem. He's talking about hidden things from their eyes. Oh, that's what I was talking about. So he's describing here the embankment and the destruction of it and the demolishing of things. And people will say, well, Luke couldn't have wrote these ahead of time. They'll say that about other gospels too, but we're in Luke right now. Luke couldn't have read these ahead of time because he was relying on Josephus and he was writing afterwards, and he doesn't always agree with Josephus. One, that's a problem. So if he's copying Josephus, why would he say something different than Josephus said? Two, there's times where he describes something, but if he was writing after the fact, it seems like he got some details wrong. And if he's writing after it happened, why would you get details wrong? Well, here, Jesus is talking in a sense of total destruction. Does it matter that what comes doesn't 100% match total destruction? Oh, it does match total destruction. And it does match people. Like, it talks about, that it wouldn't be in winter and women pregnant and some other things that just don't seem to happen. It didn't happen in winter. So, those kinds of things make people say, see, Luke was wrong. But then they go and use those same things to say, see, Luke was copying someone else and writing after the fact. It's like, no, if he was writing after the fact, he would have had some other details in there. If he was copying Josephus, he wouldn't have changed what Josephus said to something else. So, anyway, just pointing that out, there's some evidence there that I think points to Jesus knows that the people are in a state that Rome is going to crack down on them and that they are not in a state of returning to God. And since that is the case, it's not going to be long and the temple will be destroyed. So if you want to look at it, in 40 years of testing does not have to literally be 40 years. It's symbolic. And when you get 40 years in the desert, it includes the 2 years they spent at Mount Sinai. They were there for a year after coming out. It took several months to get there, and then they move on like in year 2 is really when they begin moving on. But it's still 40 years in the desert, including 40 years since you left Egypt is how it's phrased. So no matter where Jesus' death ends up, and if we paint Jesus' birth and Jesus' age when he starts his ministry, all those things are relative. But essentially, if Jesus is 30 when he starts his ministry, and it's 30 AD, if that's correct, because he's 30, and I don't think it is, but regardless, let's just say that is, and the temple's destroyed in 70 AD, that's 40 years. So 40 years of testing of trial since Jesus began to preach and teach would be what you could say. So it's a time of testing of the people of God if they were going to truly follow God and do all of that. So let's keep going. because he's entered in. Then Jesus entered the temple courts and began to drive out all of those who were selling things there, saying to them, "It is written, my house will be a house of prayer, but you have turned it into a den of robbers." Okay, I've got a bunch of footnotes here. What do we say? That's not going to be, that's just a Kai and a he. The merchants, those who were selling things there, would have been located in the court of the Gentiles in the temple. Yes, I know that. Matthew, Mark, and Luke record this incident of the temple cleansing of Jesus' ministry. John records a cleansing of the temple at the beginning of Jesus' ministry. So the note of the word temple courts in John 2:14 for discussion of the relationship of the other accounts. Okay, so we go look at that. Not interested in that fully. A friend of mine was doing a thesis on that. So I don't know if he ever did his dissertation and get that published or not on the two cleansings, the John versus the other Gospels. But and then Jesus was teaching daily in the temple courts. The chief priests and the experts in the law and the prominent leaders among the people were seeking to assassinate him. They didn't just put kill. They want to say assassinate. They could not find a way to do it, for all the people hung on his words. Lane, let me tell you people, that steak and egg and cheese bagel from McDonald's is amazing. Okay, Lane, thank you. Solomon's Porch, or I thought it was colonnade, not polymade, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just a different variant. No, so this would not be Solomon's Porch, I don't believe. That would have been off to the side. This would have been in the court of the Gentiles. So, you're making me hungry. I'm not great on the fullness of being able to show you what the temple was, but if you have the outside barrier wall of things, Gentiles could come in and go no further. Then there's a section of the court of women. The women could come in and go no further. And then there was the place where Jewish men could go and go no further. And then there's the place where the high priest can go and only the high priest can go. So there are segment things. So essentially, they set up, rather than having all of the money changing outside of the temple compound, they set up the temple money changing and animal exchange inside the temple, and they took over where the Gentiles were supposed to do worship. So that's part of the problem that Jesus is confronting them with, is they have displaced Gentiles from coming to worship God, and then the practice of the money changing that is taking place, that's happening there. Here, it doesn't seem like began to drive them out, those who were selling there. So it just says drive them out. The other, I think it talks about fashioning a cord and a whip and chasing them out and then not letting them return. But he does this. Like, if they were looking for a reason to get rid of him, he's just allowed the Gentiles. But he gives a reason. My house should be called a house of prayer. Isaiah, a hideout. Oh, a hideout for a den. And then Jeremiah 7:11. The meaning of Jesus' statement, make the temple courts a den of robbers, probably operated here on two levels. Not only were they religious robbing the people financially, but because of this, they were robbing them spiritually by stealing from them the opportunity to come to know God genuinely. Yeah, so there's two levels of theft going on there. Spell check changes it. Okay, so you did have colonnade and it went to polymade. Okay, that's funny. Good, you should be for that bagel. Okay. Now, one day, as Jesus was teaching the people in the temple court, so remember, he entered on Sunday. He enters on Palm Sunday, and we're moving through the week right now. We are moving through the final week of Jesus' life. So it says one day. This could be then Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. One of these days, this happened. Jesus was teaching in the temple courts and proclaiming the gospel, the good news. And the gospel, the good news, is the declaration of a new king. The declaration of a new king, of what the kingdom of that new king is going to be like. The chief priests and the experts in the law with the elders came up and said to him, "Tell us, by what authority are you doing these things? Or who is it who gave you the authority?" Okay. So, in essence, the way you would have authority as a rabbi would be that you would be trained by a rabbi. You would be able to know all the things your rabbi taught, be able to reteach those and understand why your rabbi taught those things. Then after you had done all of those things and you were seen to have great grasp and understanding, you could become a rabbi yourself that could then, if you had authority given to you, teach new things. You could not come up with new things and share new things until authority had been given to you. And Jesus is clearly teaching new things. They're going, who was your rabbi? Who gave you authority to teach new things? All your stuff you're saying is new. We don't agree with it. Now notice it's the chief priests. So it's now those within the temple compound, which the priestly system is corrupt at this time, which is why the Essenes left. And the experts in the law and the elders come up to him. So this is those whose power in the temple is threatened. The synagogue system, he's often preaching in the synagogues on the Sabbath day, is different than the temple system. They're related, but they're different ways of doing things. Johnny Darko, challenged the church was a sentence to death back then, even for the Son of Man. Yes. One of the things that we'll use the phrase, or you may have heard it, is Jesus spends 3 years with the Pharisees. He spends 1 week with the Sadducees and those the chief priests, and they eliminate him after a week. Like their power is seriously threatened. The Pharisees are just in the Galilee region are just trying to persuade Jesus. You're close, but come over here. We'll help you get it all right. Okay, he answers them. I will also ask you a question, and you tell me, John's baptism, was it from heaven or from people? So they discussed it with one another, saying, meaning his baptism, his anointing. If we say from heaven, he will say, why did you not believe him? But if, if we say from people, all the people will stone us because they are convinced John was a prophet. So they replied, they did not know where it came from. Then Jesus said to them, neither will I tell you by whose authority I do these things. So if you can't admit, hey, Sunshine S Games, if you can't admit, you know that John's authority was from heaven, then you won't admit that my authority is from heaven, even if I tell you that's where it's from. So if you're not willing to declare the truth about John, it doesn't matter what I tell you. So not going to tell you anything. Now, that had to get under their skin. I'm just saying. Then he began to tell the people this parable. A man planted a vineyard, leased it to tenant farmers, and went on a journey for a long time. When the harvest time came, he sent a slave to the tenants so that they would give him his portion of the crop. However, the tenants beat the slave and sent him away empty-handed. So he sent another slave. They beat this one too, treating him outrageously, and sent him away empty-handed. So he sent them still a third. They even wounded this one and threw him out. Then the owner of the vineyard said, what should I do? I will send one dear son. Perhaps they would respect him. But when the tenants saw him, they said to one another, this is the heir. Let's kill him so the inheritance will be ours. So they threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. That's so funny. They throw him out, they cast him out, and they kill him. Like I think there's a reference here to the Garden of Eden being cast out of the vineyard we should be thinking of. What then will the owner of the vineyard do to them? He will come and destroy those tenants and give the vineyard to others. When the people heard this, they said, May this never happen. But Jesus looked straight at them and said, then what is the meaning of what is written? The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Everyone who falls on this stone will be broken to pieces, and the one on whom it falls will be crushed. Then the experts in the law, the chief priests, wanted to arrest him that very hour because they realized he had told a parable against them, but they were afraid of the people. So, Jesus was also martyred. Jesus bringing him up in this context shows the church and their willingness to kill for power. Oh, yes. Yep. And I do not think that that has changed. I do not think that that has changed. Yeah, so the people are going, we don't want this to happen. See, they really understand, like, they are the vineyard workers. Why? Because they have inherited the land from God, from Abraham. It is on loan to them. They do not own it, and they're supposed to give their tithes and offerings. And they're not. They're not. Hey, Sonics. Sonic So? Sonic Soe? Hey, welcome in, friend. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Help me out with the name, all right? Just call you Sonic if that's fine. Welcome in, friend. So they sent him empty-handed. This is a little bit different than the other versions, but the point being, when the son comes, they kill the son. He is telling them this before they do it. He is telling them this before they do it. Then they watched him carefully and sent spies who pretended to be sincere. They wanted to take advantage of what he might say so that they could deliver him to the authorities and jurisdiction of the governor. Thus, they asked him, "Teacher, we know you speak and teach correctly and show no partiality, but teach the way of God in accordance with the truth." So they're buttering him up like, we understand who you really are. These conniving people. Yeah, you teach rightly. You teach correctly. Is it right for us to pay tribute tax to Caesar or not? But Jesus perceived their deceit and said to them, okay, again, you don't have to be mind reading Jesus to perceive that somebody is trying to trap you with their words. It'd be the same if someone came in here in the chat trolling and asking questions of, what do you believe about this? And what do you say about that? Because they would be trying to get me to make a statement that they would disagree with or they could use against me. Those kinds of things. It's not new. Jesus had trolls, everybody. Jesus was being trolled by people in the temple. Why? Because he's in front of other people and we're going to get him to say something we can hold against him. That's what's going on. Yeah, stones. There we go. There we go. Get the Ebenezer's out. Show me a denarius whose image and inscription is on it. They said, Caesar's. So he said to them, then give to Caesar's the things of Caesar's and give to God the things that are God. Okay, one thing that we may not get in this version of it, one of the others that says, and so he presented him with a coin. One of them presented a coin. He's in the temple. Having an image of Caesar in the temple is a violation of the law because you're not supposed to bear images and you're not supposed to bring anything into the temple that was unclean and impure. And having a graven image, which would be the image of Caesar on a coin, would be something. That's why you had to have money changers, because you had to have the temple coins that had no images of people on them. You had to use the temple coins. So you had to take your coins that were good for commerce outside of the temple, switch them to temple coins and use them. But in the other version, they show one of them presented a coin. There's a person standing in violation of the law that has no problem with violating the law, and they're trying to trap Jesus and saying something to violate the law. Yes. Blessed to stressed. Yes, too blessed, too stressed. There we go. Xanadu Peach, hey! Good to see you, friend. Welcome in. They said Caesar's is on it. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Then give to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and give to God the things that are God. Thus they were unable, in the presence of people, to trap him with his own words, and stunned by his answer, they fell silent. So, yeah, he doesn't fall for the trap. He identifies things, which is also interesting too, because you could only pay Caesar with coins that Caesar's face was on, and you could only use temple coins to give your offering to God. So it's just like these two things are created for two different purposes. Use them for the purpose they're created. Masterful Jesus. Masterful Jesus. Now the Sadducees, who contend that there is no resurrection, came to him. They asked him, Teacher, Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother dies leaving a wife but no children, that man must marry the widow and father children for his brother. Yeah, we just read this not too long ago. Which one this is going to say? Deuteronomy 25:5. That's where the quotation is from. Now there were 7 brothers. The first one married a woman and died without children. The second, then the third married her, and in the same way all 7 died, leaving no children. Finally, the woman died too. I like how finally the woman died too. In the resurrection, therefore, whose wife will the woman be? For all 7 had married her. So they're saying they all had proper legal standing to be the husband. They all were in proper legal standing to be the husband. Yeah, Jesus, the ultimate mic dropper. Boom. Boom. I was in a conversation with some tech people, and they're like, this is like the worst thing. Like, don't ever actually physically do a mic drop. It's awful. It ruins mics. It damages them. All those kinds of things. Like, but it's the thing. It's the thing that, I don't know, has become a thing. Anyway, so don't really do that. Don't really do that. Don't drop the mic. I have Mike sitting right here at my side, so I can go record a podcast later today. Okay. So here's our trick question, Jesus. Can you solve our riddle? Riddle me this. I always like picture some of these questions coming up like, riddle me this, Jesus. Like it's the Joker, or the Riddler. Sorry, the Riddler, not the Joker. Johnny Darko, when my wife had asked me if we will be with each other after we die, the passage came up for discussion. Insightful of what heaven is like, we believe we will know each other in heaven. Or bring a proper mic for you. Prop mic. Bring the prop mic with you to drop. Exactly. Bring the prop mic to drop, not the real one. Okay. Well, let's read what this says. Let's read Jesus' answer. So Jesus said to them, the people of this age marry and are given in marriage, but those who are regarded as worthless to share in the age and in the resurrection from the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage. In fact, they can no longer die because they are equal to angels and the Son of God, since they are sons of the resurrection. But even Moses revealed that the dead are raised in the passage about the bush, where he calls the Lord the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Now he is not God of the dead, but of the living, for all live before him. Then some of the experts in law answered, Teacher, you have spoken well, for they did not dare any longer to ask him anything. So the point of Jesus is you're focused on the resurrection and thinking of deadness rather than thinking of the presence of God. And the God is the God of the living. So focus on the living piece. And God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So therefore they are not dead. They are already in resurrected living, if you want to look at it that way. So, Lane, I think we will know each other in heaven, but you won't be married, right? Yeah, he says that in the age to come, there won't be given to marriage. Where is it? People in this age marry and are given in marriage, but those who are regarded as worthless share in the age and in the resurrection of the dead, neither marry nor are given to marriage. Okay, so there is no marriage in the resurrection, is the way this reads. There is no marriage in the resurrection. So that's as much as we can say. That, let me just see what the footnote says here. Let's look at the footnote. Life in the age to come is different from life here. They neither marry nor are given in marriage. This means Jesus' questioners had made a false assumption that life was the same both now and in the age to come. Okay, so he's pointing out an assumption that they're making. Like, in the future, there's not going to be a giving to marriage, so why are you worrying about marriage? Now, I think like everyone is kind of pointing out, I would think, obviously, we would know who people are in the resurrection. Jesus knows who everyone is, and I think it seemed like Lazarus did when he was raised, but that wasn't a resurrected body from the standpoint of future resurrection. It wasn't a glorified body. So, I don't know, this passage causes some confusion. I think there's more things hidden here, but I think the overall point is they're asking about resurrection is the point that they want. They're trying to trick him by talking about something that can't be answered. So he points out, you missed the point that Abraham or Moses said, he's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, so he's not a God of the dead, but God of the living. Resurrection has to happen, or God is a God of the dead. So his focal point is on resurrection when he's answering them, not about the side thing that they're talking about marriage. But he's saying in the future, you're not going to be given to marriage. So, like, there won't be weddings after the resurrection. But that didn't answer the question. That didn't answer the question of, if you were married beforehand, are you married afterwards? And if you had multiple marriages, how do you resolve that? I don't know. We don't have answers on that, would be the way I would say it. I believe according to Scripture, we will be all married to the Lord in heaven. Oh, yeah, in that regard, we're called the bride of Christ, yes. Okay, Lane says, I will know my Nona in heaven, but she won't be Nona, just Alice. I'm not sure. Because it says given to marriage, that would be like future marriages, is the way I would think that is. Not past marriages. But I do not know. That's where Jesus doesn't answer the question they ask about marriage directly. He points at it, but doesn't go into great detail. He's like, you're worried about marriages in the afterlife? When you don't even believe there's an afterlife? So that's why I think he doesn't finish fully fleshing that out. Also, I'd rather focus on today and here than the future that I can't change. Oh, yeah, you also have the parable, Wade says, of the rich man and Lazarus, where people knew each other, but it's a parable. Yes, but parables are used to illustrate truths. So, yeah, I would take from that we know each other. Hey, St. Bear, welcome in, friend. Hey, so excited for NCMS. That looks exciting at the castle, my friend. I'm watching you people. So, basically, Jesus was like, y'all ain't slick. I see what you're doing. Let's get to the heart of the scriptures and move on. Exactly. That is exactly what he does. I'm watching you people. He sees that they're asking a question that they don't have, that they're trying to trick him with, but he addresses their problem in their whole methodology and thinking in totality about not believing in a resurrection. He addresses their underlying problem and supposition rather than addressing the other part that they ask. So, yeah. Totally. You're great. You guys are awesome. You guys are spot on today, my friends. Okay. Continuing. But, he said to them, how is it that they say that the Christ is David's son? For David himself says in the book of Psalms, the Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. If David then calls him Lord, how can he be his son? So here's the mic drop. You wanna solve some riddles? Riddle me this. If David says he's the Lord and you're going to sit at my right hand, how is he David's son? How are you saying to your son that you're my Lord? How can you be in both statures and statuses? Explain that to me, my friend. Which they could not do. Bum, bum, bum. The castle. Is NCMS getting held in Australia? No, it's going to be in Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs. Yeah, yay me. Exactly. Oh, love the star there. Thanks for the shout out, Luces. I don't stream, though. So follow at your own peril. Going to Bonnie Doon? No. No, it's in Colorado. Oh, I wish. No, yeah. Man, K-Man, Hey, Saint Bear. Maybe we get on that for year 5. I'm not planning on year 3. Like year 5, we go down under for NCMS. That'd be fun. Oh, Colorado is the setting of the Digimon movie, so that's where it is. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Well, I didn't watch Digimon, so did not. There we go. Get the Aussie flag in there, K-Man. Okay, continuing. We're almost done with this chapter. As all the people were listening, Jesus said to his disciples, "Beware of the experts in the law. They like walking around with long robes, and they love elaborate greetings in the marketplace and the best seats." So elaborate greeting, in the synagogues and the places of honor at banquets. Okay, elaborate greetings. I think this is going to be continuing the sentence begun in the prior phrase. Oh, okay, so they left a word out. Is all it's there. They left out some Greek because it's unnecessary in English. So elaborate greetings. This would be like titles. Like you might have run into some of these pastors. The Reverend Doctor so and so, with long titles, and because I've earned them and you should call me by that. No. Ooh, NCMS Australia and NCMS Canada need to happen, it seems. I thought about Canada. I'd be down for Canada. I'm close to Canada. Just depends on where you do it. So, St. Bear, I don't either, but everyone got a shout out just to make sure you aren't missed. Oh, yes. Yes. And thank you, Luces. Let's get some mod love in for Luces and Sir Sunshine. Got some fantastic mods. Taking care of greeting people in the chat, in the stream, and shout outs and commands and good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, so they're all about the prestige and the pomp and circumstances and all that stuff. They devour widows' property, and as a show, make long prayers. They will receive a more severe punishment. Ooh, because of the way that they are prideful and doing things, they are compounding the things they do wrong. Yeah. Ooh, that's harsh. All right. You need a whole alphabet of letters after my name in my email signature, or you won't feel the port. Yeah. There you go. Which is funny because the reality of that, like if you get a business card and people put all of the little acronyms and accolades behind their name, PhD, THD, whatever those might be. My wife works in the medical realm where those degrees and certifications and all that mean a whole lot. And she's like, and I only have this behind my name. I feel inadequate. I feel like I'm a fraud. I feel like I'm not in you have, that's what I say to her. You have so much practical on-site experience in things and a brevity of overseeing stuff for so many years. That is more valuable than a degree behind your name. It just is. It just is. Yeah, there we go. Getting all the mod love. Thank you, guys. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, so they're going to get a more severe punishment because all they is about is myself. Look at me. Look at me. I'm so glad that flat caps aren't a thing that, people are going to brag about. I'm just that weird eccentric guy over in the corner that's like, man, yeah, we We know him, we love him, but we ain't doing what he's doing. At least not with the hats, you know. I do, however, feel like, there's a mention of turbans several places throughout Scripture and the headgear that the priests have. That the Catholics and the Eastern Orthodox might have been onto something with having their bishops and such, wear hats. It just seems like it's a good thing. The paper ceiling, very real. Tip of the cap. Tip of the cap, sunshine. And redeemed a change hat. All right. Your pick. Okay. Flat cap. I think I'm mostly awake now, but I was slow going for the morning. I just had peanut butter cookies for breakfast. So it's protein. It's healthy. There you go. There you go. All right. So let's pick a hat. Let's pick a hat. You know what I need? Just putting this out there. I need an NCMS hat. I need a Nerd Culture Ministry Summit or Nerd Culture Ministry Collective hat. I need a hat with that on it. That would be nice. All right. I don't think I've worn this one in a while, so I'm gonna go right there. With the patchwork hat. The patchwork hat. There we go. There we go. Thank you. And we're through with reading Luke 19 and Luke 20. We finished that all. Oh, we're only supposed to go through verse 26 through Saturday. Let's see what Sunday actually has. Cool equals Spanish word severe. Cool equals Spanish word severe. Okay. Oh, true. I just met guys who could custom embroider one. If you, oh, seriously, I would love that. I would love that. Like, and I would not care if it was like right here across the top. That would be cool. Kind of like take the whole thing. Or some hats have a little logo in the back. I do have one. Let me show you. I don't have a lot, but this is also what they'll do. They'll put a little logo, get a little shamrock in the back. Or you can flip the hat open. I was wearing this one for St. Patrick's Day, and like everyone would comment on it. I'd have to show them the inside and flip the underside. Or what if you did it right across here? That'd be cool too. The underside of the brim. If it's embroidery wouldn't work under the brim, probably. Well, maybe it would. You should name them all. I don't name. I'm not a naming person, kind of thing. I've never named a car. I don't name my controllers. I don't name my PCs. I don't name my phone. I know people that do all those kinds of things. They name their instruments. I know, no, that's a thing that people do. I don't give names to inanimate objects. This is my mug, and it's got logos all over it. By the way, Nerd Culture Ministry Summit, repping right there. So, yeah, I've never been into the name of that thing. I'll ask about flat caps next time they're live. Yeah, cool, man. Patchy. This hat is Carl, and the one is Bruce. Yeah, that's what it feels like. I'm like, yeah, that's just not a thing I'm gonna be doing. And all on you if you do that. Not downplaying anyone that wants to do that. Just not gonna be a thing I do. Okay, so looking ahead here. So Psalm 49, Luke 20, 27 through 47, then Luke 21, 1 through 4. So if we read 4 verses, we're all the way through Sunday. Wow. Deuteronomy 33 and Deuteronomy 34. Okay. Actually, that would be pretty cool channel point redeem for longtime viewers, because it would take a while to get 500,000 points to have you chance to name one of your flat casts tastefully. You have 41,000 for Johnny Darko points to go. I would call the patchwork Black Cap Barnaby. Ooh. There you go. One day at a time. There we go. There we go. Or different approach. This hat is the Butcher, and the one is the Sailor. That one is the Charlatan. Well, actually, this hat, I guess it does have a name. I guess, you know what? This is the one company. Not all of them do that. See, my hair's all messed up. There we go. Wrong way. Why am I doing that? I'm looking in the mirror and it's not working. There we go. Anyway, this is what I was going to show you. The Lunchbox. So Boston Scully does name their hats. This one is called the Lunchbox. So I guess this one actually has a name. It's the Lunchbox. The green one is the Punk. And the purple one is the Aficionado. They name their hats. Boston Scully does name their hats. So I guess I have 3 that have names. I guess I actually do have hats that have names. My memory's not good enough, and I don't think I'd be able to keep up with the fishies and their names. Oh, yeah, I did to begin with. When I started, I didn't name guppies ever. The guppies would be too hard to name. I haven't named these fish, all of them, but Waiwis is the pleco here in the corner. And I did have names of several of my koi when I first got them. I was naming them, so I had Methuselah was one of them, and Jonah, and Rack and Benny, and there was the Skelly Bros. I still have the Skelly Bros. They're white and black, so it looks like they're a skeleton. I'll get the cam running up in the next month, and you'll be able to check them out. So, okay, let's see what the next month has for us. Or sorry, not next month. Next day. Why am I saying month? Next day. Oh, we'll be finished. We'll be finished with Deuteronomy, but Luke. Here we go. This is what I want. Pro 10, 11 through 20, and Luke 21, 5 through 38. Okay, that's what I was trying to find. So we can mark off when we get to whatever we do with Luke today. That's all I was trying to do. So Luke 21. So these 4 would get us through Sunday. Jesus looked up, and he saw the rich putting their gifts in the offering box. So he's still in the temple. He's still in the temple. He also saw a poor widow put in 2 small copper coins. He said, I tell you the truth, the poor widow has put in more than all of them, for they all offered their gifts out of their wealth, but out of her poverty she put in everything she had to live on. Okay. The offering box probably referred to the receptacle in the temple forecourt by the court of women used to collect free will offerings. These are mentioned by Josephus. Okay. There were in the temple 13 such receptacles in the form of trumpets, but even in these passages, the general sense of the treasury is probably for the contributions would go into the treasury via the receptacles based on the extra biblical evidence. However, the translation opts refer to an actual receptacle and not the treasury itself. Okay. So saying whether this is meaning the treasury or the box itself, probably not necessary to make a distinction, but this is probably one that's for free will offerings. So, free will offerings are on top of the required offerings. So hopefully you're getting the Levitical system down. So when I mention these things, they're not new to you. You might not remember them, but when I mention them, they should come to mind, hopefully. You had your first fruits offering, which is going to be the first of the harvest that you give, and also the firstborn of the flock, and every 10th one that you have to give, and then a 10th every year of the harvest. So those are all of the required offerings. Then you have some that are going to be vow offerings, which I vow this and then I will give this. You have that. You also then have free will, which is above and beyond those things. I feel blessed by God, therefore I choose to give. This woman's giving you the free will offering because she feels blessed and wants to give. It's not the required offering, it's the there are people worse off than me and I want to help them offering. She's giving out of her lack. Others are giving out of their abundance. So, anyway, just love this passage. Just wanted to kind of point that out. Hey, let me get caught up on chat. And MJ with the resub. 7 months. Wow, my friend. 7 months. Boom. Reach the word, baby. There we go. That's the reason that the catfish has a name. Luces. I believe it was Sis Pineapple that used the name Wywis. It's not a catfish. It's a Plecostomus. But yes, because I did do a stream redeem. If you donated so much, you could name the Plecostomus, and then we spun a wheel of all the names, and that's what it was. Yes, the 2 viewers, from North Hill live stream. You have arrived. Thank you, MJ. Johnny Darko, tithing is always a hot topic among non and new believers. When my wife became a believer, we just made sure that she was giving with joy. Not just our monetary donation, but also our time we spent volunteering. It made a difference with that approach. Absolutely. And that is what I would think you should do. The other reason why the tithe was there was because the Levites had no portion in the land. So the tithe went to them. So that's the reason for the tithe. So if there is no sacrificial system and none of that, and there's no Levites that need the tithe, and you're not in the land, the tithe does not apply. So, oops, sorry for the wrong type of fish. Not a fish person myself. Oh, no worries. No worries on that. I don't expect you to know all of those. It's also an albino. They're normally dark fish, but it is not. By the way, when I got that, I bought 2. I bought the albino and I bought the regular one, thinking the albino would probably not survive. It would be a weaker genetic pool. And the other pleco hid inside one of the containers or one of the things in there, never came out, never ate, like disappeared for months, didn't eat food, and died. So, yeah. Goes to show you gotta eat at some point. Okay, now while some were speaking about the temple, how it was adorned, and the beautiful stones and offerings, Jesus said, "As for these things that you are gazing at, the day will come when not one stone will be left on another." So this is destruction language. Jesus predicted the destruction of the temple. It doesn't occur till 70. The other thing is there's still the Western Wall. So there are stones on top of each other. If we're to take this literally and we say that Jesus or Luke had to write this afterwards, Jesus didn't do a prediction, why would you use a statement? You would say that it will all be destroyed or the temple will be destroyed, not use the phrasing one stone left on top another. That wouldn't be the way you might phrase it, because people could say, no, you didn't do that. Lane, hey, prayer time. Let me know what you need prayer for, friend. All will be thrown down so they asked him, "Teacher, when will these things happen, and what will be the sign that these things are about to take place?" He said, "Watch out that you are not misled, for many will come in my name and say, 'I am he.' The time is near. Do not follow them. And when you hear of wars and rebellions, do not be afraid, for these things must happen first, but then the end will not come at once." But then the end will not come at once. Okay. The remark about timing not only indicated that there were events before the end, but that time would also pass before. Okay, so they're asking Jesus, what is the sign of the destruction of the temple, the temple that they're looking at, not second coming Jesus. He just said the temple is going to be destroyed. Like, hey, when's it going to be destroyed? He says the time is near. People are going to come in my name and mislead you. So in the 40-year absence, there are people who show up claiming to be Jesus. Don't follow them. Also, there's going to be wars and rebellions. Do not be afraid. Oh, I like the rebellion there. Social and political chaos also precedes the end. This term refers to revolution. So yeah, which is actually what leads to it. The rebellion is what leads to the temple destruction. People rising up against Rome. Wars and rebellions are going to cause them to come and squash and destroy the temple. There it is. Unspoken prayer lane. Okay. God, we're just lifting up Lane and anyone else in chat who needs prayer today. May you just show up and be a blessing to them. May you just show up and give them all that they're in need of for today. If it is mental health things, if it is physical things, if it's spiritual things, if it's emotional things, God, give us all that we're in need of. May we be a blessing today, and may we be a blessing to others. Just watch over us in all we do. Reach out, make your presence known to Lane, make your face to shine upon him, and give him peace. Pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Johnny Darko, the time is near. Do not follow them. Anyone who says they know when the second coming of Jesus will be, run. Heard a lot of that when the eclipse was going on last week. Yeah, there was a lot of that. Actually, I think the eclipse was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? Maybe I'm wrong. Then he said to them, nation will rise up in arms against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes and famines and plagues in various places. There will be terrifying signs and great signs from heaven. There would be why people are looking at the eclipse. Great signs from heaven. But before all of this, they will seize you and persecute you, handing you over to the synagogues and prisons. You will be brought before kings and governors because of my name. All of those happen before the destruction of the temple. All of those happen before the destruction of the temple. This will be the time for you to serve as witnesses, which means martyrs. Or turn out of you for testimony. Witness, yeah. Therefore, be resolved not to rehearse ahead of time how to make your defense. For I will give you the words along with the wisdom that none of your adversaries will be able to withstand or contradict. So, like, we could see this fulfilled in Paul. Paul doesn't prepare ahead of time his defense. He does it in the moment before Festus. And before, when he moves on to the next, I can't remember all the other people's names. But he moves on and on, progresses through several different people. You will be betrayed even by parents, brothers, relatives, and friends, and they will have some of you put to death. Oh no, ad break. Missed it. Sorry, friends. I was hoping to get in before the ad break. Bum. Let's take a look at the fine looking guppies there. Yeah, and one of the problem with the guppies, they're so small and they move so fast. How would I name them and remember which one was the name? Like right over here, we've got yellow leopard skin one, and here we've got a red fire one, and there we've got one with the fin tail, the split tail, the sword tail. I can't remember what the name of it is. We've got long fins, we've got short fins, we've got black ones, we've got red ones, we've got the zebra stripe ones, the speckled ones. I mean, there's all of them in there. Koi, a little bit easier to identify, and they get bigger, and they get more markings on them. So. All right, we should be back from the ad. Sorry about that. I was trying to keep an eye on the ad. I missed it. I would have delayed it so we could just finish this. We have a lot of betrayal going on, and friends and relatives and brothers and sisters all turning you in to save their own skin. You'll be hated by everyone because of my name, yet not a hair on your head will perish, but by your endurance, you will gain your lives. Okay, so this can't refer to physical death because some of them are put to death. The expression of not a hair on your head will perish must be taken figuratively as a reference to living ultimately in the presence of God. Yes, not in the physical, but in the eternal sense. Yes. Not preparing your testimony, is that because the truth will come out without having to premeditate your thoughts? Your caps are easier to name. Yeah, they would be. Well, I think the rationale for don't prepare ahead of time is more of a statement around the necessity of it and your fretting to be ready to defend yourself. I don't think it's about your testimony. I think it's to defend your actions. For instance, one of the things that we know did happen was people were accused of being cannibals. You didn't have to prepare ahead of time to say, no, we're eating bread and we're drinking wine. You didn't have to prepare ahead of time. The way that you would present that and the way you would talk about it and the way that you would defend yourself would be, you're going to get the right words to say. Don't fret over what to say in the moment. The Spirit will give it to you. You don't have to be worried about saying the wrong thing. The Spirit is going to give you what to say. Yeah, I think that's what it is the fretting over it, the worried about it, because the Spirit is going to be the one doing it for you. So you don't have to prepare ahead of time. Yeah. And to be resolved, like, you are already ready because you're a follower of me. That's all the readiness you need to make a defense of what you have. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Johnny. Okay. But when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies and know that its desolation has come near. 70 AD. I still think this is talking about 70 AD. We can look for things that might be future, and they could also have been fulfilled in 70 AD as well. Then those who are in Judea must flee to the mountains. Those who are in the city must depart. Those who are out in the country must not enter it, because those days of vengeance to fulfill all that is written. Woe to those who are pregnant and those who are nursing their babies in those days, for there will be great distress on the earth and wrath against this people. Okay, to say there'll be great distress on the earth doesn't mean that this is a global thing. That's not referring to that. I don't think we have to see that as global. They will fall by the edge of the sword and be led away as captives among all nations. Jerusalem will be trampled down by the Gentiles, and the time of the Gentiles is fulfilled. Okay, so it says Jerusalem will be trampled down by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles is fulfilled. To me, this sounds like after the destruction of the temple in 70 AD, we should not expect a new temple, because Jerusalem is going to be trampled down until the time of the Gentiles is fulfilled. Has the time of the Gentiles been fulfilled? I don't know. I don't think so. But all of these things that are described here, I can point to and say, yeah, the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD, the destruction of the temple, the destruction of the temple would have been a desolation. Let's see what there's the phrase, its desolation, referred to the fall of the city, which is the only antecedent presented in Luke's account. So the destruction of the city is the only thing referred to. Therefore, the temple's destruction through Matthew's allusion is clearer. The focus of the parallel event. Well, we started with the temple earlier, so we could anticipate it's still in parallel. But to end as short realization, 70 the entire passage for the prophetic two events in one typology, where the near destruction 70 is like the end, so the evangelist could choose to focus on the nearer time realization or on the long-term fulfillment, which mirrors it in Matthew and Mark. Okay. I think it's all 70. But just because something is all 70 doesn't mean there's not a future. That's Scripture works that way. There can be a past full fulfillment of something and a future new fulfillment that wasn't missing, but could still be a future fulfillment. And I know that's not how a lot of people see it, but that's one of the ways that I see it. Because look at the things that are said that Jesus fulfills. You go back at the original passage, doesn't look like they're predictions at all. So how does Jesus fulfill something that's not a prediction? Because it parallels and points to. It replicates something. So. And there will be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. Okay, we're getting even further. We're getting even further. And the earth nations will be in distress, anxious over the roaring of the sea and the surging waves. Here we get the anxious there. I didn't look at the Hebrew, or sorry, the Greek there. In consternation. Okay, so it's just giving us another option there. I didn't go look at the Hebrew here, or sorry, why am I saying Hebrew? The Greek here, maybe the anxious here and the up above are parallel. Don't know. Don't think it matters. But I think it's the same thing. So the earth is going to be anxious, fretting over the future. You don't fret over the future. The contrast of the two things. You have Jesus, nothing to fret. The world doesn't. They have a lot of fret. People will be faint from fear and from the expectation of what is to come on the world, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Ooh, why is that in? The illusion the heavens were seen as the abode of the heavenly forces, and the shake indicated distress in the spiritual realm, although some take the powers as a reference to the bodies in heaven, like stars, planets. Okay. So either literally the heavenly bodies, the stars, or the heavenly realm, the place of the spiritual beings. Okay. Then they will see the Son, a man arriving in a cloud. So here we have the second coming. Before we did not. Now we have a reference to the second coming, I think. With power and great glory. But when these things begin to happen, stand up and raise your heads, because your redemption is near. Then he told them a parable. So they asked him about when the time of destruction is coming. He rattles off a whole bunch of things about the near destruction and his future return. And now he's going to give a parable about it. Then he told him a parable. Look at the fig tree and all the other trees. When they sprout leaves, you see for yourself and know that summer is now near. Yeah, spring is now near because of all the budding. So also you, when you see these things happening, know the kingdom of God is near. I tell you the truth. This generation will not pass away until all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Okay, let me go look at something here. Where is the Son of Man arriving in a cloud? Let me see this. Okay, I'm going to go look this up in the Greek a minute. So we're Luke 21:27. And this is an allusion to Daniel, I believe, the Son of Man coming in the cloud. Okay. To come of persons, to come to one place to another, or use both of persons arriving and those returning, make an appearance. To appear, to make an appearance, yes. To come into being, arise, come forth. I wondered if I was just looking. Oh, there we go. There is the variant to go. There is the variant not only of coming in the cloud, but could be going in the cloud. That's what I wanted to see. I thought the Greek would allow that. I'm not saying it has to be that, but look at how this is phrased. I tell you the truth, this generation will not pass away until it sees all these things. What does it say on generation? This is one of the hardest verses in the gospel to interpret. Various views exist from what generation means. Some take it to meaning race. I don't think that's intended there. And thus an assurance that the Jewish race will not pass away. But it's very questionable from the Greek term. Yeah. Can have two meanings. Two other options are possible. Generation might mean this type of generation. Okay. Those who are believers, the generation of believers, that could be referring to generation, or the wicked humanity. Yeah. Then it points to the humanity will not perish because God will redeem it. Okay. Generation might refer to generation that sees the signs of the end, who will also see the end itself. Oh, okay. So it's the generation that sees the signs will also see the end. Okay. They come quickly in rapid succession. Okay. Here's the other thing now. The only thing that we have to say is a requirement for this to be future is the Son of Man coming in the clouds, because that would mean second coming. But what if, because it could mean going in the clouds, and he is not literally on a cloud, but the ascension happens and he's taken away. So it could be also a reference not to the coming in the cloud, but Jesus could be referring it the other way. You see the Son of Man going in the clouds. I would have to check with some other Greek scholars on saying if that's a possible reading, but I think it is a plausible rendering. And if that's the case, then this generation would be those actually standing right there before him. That there are those who are alive and see the resurrection. Yeah, I'm just talking, yes. Oh, the resurrection. Yeah, totally. I think the resurrection is in mind here. I'm just saying the Son of Man coming in the clouds phrase. What do you do with that? Everyone makes that second coming. I'm saying there's a possibility it meant the Son of Man going in the clouds. His ascension could be in mind there. But yes, the resurrection. This generation is going to see the Son of Man power. Resurrection is going to be the sign of that power. The earthquake that happens, the signs that happen at the crucifixion. I think all of that can be put there in that time frame. And then the other stuff above, the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD, the destruction of the temple. So, hey, Onesimus Prime. That's what I've always been taught. The generation that sees all these signs is the generation he's referring to. Yeah, but I think that a lot of these are all in the present tense and for the generation standing in front of him. But the variant over here of saying the generation that sees the signs means that the coming is actually near. So you see the buds, which would be the reference to the fig tree. But also the budding of the fig tree is a reference to Rome came and crushed the temple and destroyed the temple in 70 AD. The thing is, I'm not trying to say one way or the other, this is what it is. I'm trying to present possibilities. And the thing is, no matter what it is, God is the one who's going to do it. And no matter how it happened, no one understood fully Jesus' first coming, all those things that happened before they happened. It was only in hindsight that everyone's eyes were open to be able to see it. So in all of these predictions, either they are all things that they saw as what did get fulfilled in Jesus's death, burial, resurrection, and ascension, and the destruction of the temple later, but still could also have future fulfillment. So these could all be fulfilled and yet still be fulfilled again, which is still, we know there is a second coming. So we're back to where we started from. Did these all get fulfilled? Maybe. Are all of them future? Maybe. Are all of them past? Maybe. Depends on how you view it. Okay, let's finish this up. Be on your guard so that your hearts are not weighed down with dissipation and drunkenness and the worries of life. See, I think this also parallels back up to when you're hauled in before other people because you're a follower of me. You're hauled into the government and you're standing in court. Don't let your hearts grow weak with what's going on and you decide to just eat, drink, and be merry because tomorrow we die. Don't go that way. The worries of life. The days come close upon you suddenly like a trap, for it will overtake all who live on the face of the earth. But stay alert at all times. This overtake. I know we just read this. It will come upon you, the overtaking you on the road. Where was that at? Where did we just read that? Was that Luke or was that Deuteronomy? I can't remember. If somebody remembers, let me know. Because we just had that phrase. We just had that phrase either Monday or Tuesday. The coming upon you, the overtaking you. I feel like it was Deuteronomy. I feel like that phrase was from Deuteronomy, of the blessings and curses would overtake you. They would come upon you. I think that's where we had it, the blessing and the curses coming upon you. So maybe we're supposed to, with that phrasing, be thinking back to Deuteronomy. Of the before you I hold blessing and curses. Johnny Darko, the point of this passage is that we will see seasons. We can see the seasons changing, and there will be heavenly seasons. Yeah, and be prepared for the master to come home. Yeah, on the road. Oh, the road being your way of life, your walk, Lou says. So, yeah, they'll come upon you on your way as you're worried, if you're going about the way of life that you're living. The walk, the way of light, all those things are metaphorical. Your journey, your path, your walk, all metaphors for the manner in which you live. That's why we it's make straight the way for the way of the Lord, make straight your path through the desert, as opposed to turning to the right or left. It's a straight path. It's the path of righteousness. So your walk is your way of righteousness. Okay. So it will overtake you, while you're on the road. Yep, you got it. All who live on the face of the whole earth. It's going to overtake the whole earth. Okay, this, again, metaphorically, would be, we don't have to think literally the whole earth, because metaphorically, they talk about the whole earth, and they're only talking about the known peoples that they know. They're not thinking global when they say the whole earth. So we don't have to think of worldwide destruction here. We only need to think of destruction of Jerusalem as necessary for this to be fulfilled. You found it, Subdue. Deuteronomy 28:2. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you if you obey the voice of the Lord your God. See, I knew it. I knew it. So the overtaking you here is destruction overtaking you. This is like the blessing and curses. So the overtaking you, it's they come upon you. Like a thief would come upon you and chase you down. War would come upon you and go over you and take you down. Yeah, get some hype in there. Yeah, let's get a... There we go. Whole face of the earth. Just like there's not an escape. You can't escape is the point of it. Those who are the readers of this are not going to be able to escape. Yeah, getting the hype in the chat. There we go. But stay alert at all times. Pray that you may have strength to escape all these things that must happen and to stand before the Son of Man. So 2 things. Escape all these things and stand before the Son of Man. Pray that you have those. And I think the standing before the Son of Man is staying firm in your faith and that you escape these things. So every day, this is from Sunday until Thursday, every day Jesus was in the temple courts, but at night he went and stayed on the Mount of Olives. And when the people came to him early in the morning to listen to him in the temple courts. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday too, because he starts on Sunday, goes till Thursday, teaching in the temple courts. People are there. All right, so we went all the way through 21:38. Bum, bum, bum. Already crossed off. There we go. So we will not be in Luke for a while, my friends. We got Deuteronomy tomorrow. We'll be back in Deuteronomy on Monday. Let's see, what do we need to get through tomorrow? Is Deuteronomy 29, 30, and 31. Oh, yeah. We're in good shape, my friends. Take a peek at the fishies. And let's find someone to go and raid. Dun, 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 dun. Who's around today? Who shall we raid? Just scrolling. Quite a few people. Oh, someone come in? At DJ Prophet? I do not know DJ Prophet. Thank you for another wonderful Bible reading, brother. See you next time. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. Appreciate that. Onesimus, can you DM me after stream? Have a Bible question with some controversy. You don't have to answer it ASAP. Yes, absolutely. You can DM me anytime, friend. Anytime. And if we need to chat, we can do that. I'd like to use your redemption for that. Okay, at DJ Prophet. I do not know. I'm not sure I know DJ Prophet. Let's go find DJ Prophet. Okay. Let me see. How do you spell it? So, doing music. I figured that with DJ. Let me find them on my phone. There we go. Okay, that way when I get there, we'll be good to go. All the thank yous. You're all welcome. Papsio, morning all. Hey, good to see you, friend. Papsio, hello. We are at the end, but good to be here and see you. All right, let me give you the blessing, friends. Let me give you the blessing, and we'll get the raid started. May God's seeking comfort find you. May his loving arms bind you. May his might protect you. May his wisdom direct you. May the joyous love of Jesus Christ be with you and all those you know, both now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you for being here, friends. Thank you for lurking. Thank you for hanging out. Great stream, great insights, great conversation. You make it happen. You make it happen. I'm just glad to be a part of it. So thank you for all the subs, for all the hype, for all the conversation. Thank you, friends. Thank you. Have a blessed day.